I'm back for the final day of the Coin-Op Classic, and we're continuing the R-Type block with X Multiply, a game far fairer and more engaging than R-Type 2 in my opinion. It's not the hardest game that IREM ever made, but I think it's the coolest by far. This came out in between R-Type 1 and 2, and this is when IREM were known as innovators. It takes a lot of cues from Life Force and their own love of disgusting bodily horror, which is the most unique thing about IREM and why I love them as artisans so much. Anyway, you probably can see all the unique gimmicks this game offers from the demo alone. They skip this generic sci-fi and just go straight into the depths of alien bodies. So I'm going to go ahead and get a recording started. I'm going to record my gameplay. I'm going to coin the thing up, and we're gonna go for it. How about that? There we go. I got my controller plugged in. You wish me the best of luck now. So X Multiply is an offshoot of the R-Type series, which wasn't its own standalone game at the time, but this fit in so well that they decided to retcon it in, like they did with most of their other games. The year is 2100, and the Bido has infected the best of our best. You can make up your mind over who it is, but the general premise is a VIP that's important to this cosmic war, or this existential war against an alien hive mind. It's gone south, as it's infected us now. It actually happens in Image Fight 2, which comes out a couple of years after this. They explored that idea numerous times, and with no known cure, it's up to us to delve into the human body and shoot it down ourselves. We're stalling for time until the designer of the R9 can finish his craft, or we're saving CPS copy-paster's life after he got infected in the last battle. R-Type 1 takes place in 2059s, or around that timeline, so the retcon actually did change the year in R-Type Final. But this is considered a prim and proper R-Type game. I'm surprised they didn't retcon Gunforce to be a part of that as well. This human didn't eat anything, the opponent. Oh, this is what happens when the Bido infects you. It turns your body into a grotesque mockery of what it used to be. This is what the guy's arm looks like, as this is where you get shot into. And yes, it goes full Geiger, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Likewise, your ship is very alien in this game, even compared to the Force Pod in R-Type. The Force Pod in R-Type had a very funny inspiration. That was inspired by dung beetles rolling around balls of poop and mud. This is inspired by octopi and aquatic life forms, as it flows along with you and bobs around as you move around. It's your main line of defense, and it's even more versatile than the Force Pods were. As if you wiggle the joystick around, like so, it straightens itself out and you can put it in numerous different places. Thus, your amount of tactics are even more than in classic R-Type. This makes it one of the fairest games that IREM ever made, on top of having reasonable difficulty, which is pretty unheard of after R-Type 1. You saw what they did with R-Type 2. R-Type 2 is the most fiendishly difficult game they've ever made, along with Image Fight. But this is mellowed out in comparison. So I don't suspect I'll have too much trouble with this game, but it will kick your ass if you're not attentive or know the strats, which I think is the best way to make an arcade game. I got halfway consistent at the last pattern, so we'll just see how it goes. And yeah, now the battleships actually have their own sprites layered on top of the background. They put in sprites along with background objects to make the illusion that this thing is one big-ass object that's active. The hitboxes on it aren't the most accurate, but it's the illusion that counts. Oh, I gotta make note of the guy coming from behind. Make note of when we shake fins or hands with that thing, don't be on the very left side of the screen. I love these comments. Never eat yogurt past the expiration date. This is what happens. If you think this is bad, just imagine the medical bill. But we're probably over medical bills and junk like that by the year 2100. Like, society became much better after the events of Armed Police Unit Gallup, or Cosmic Cop. Now, that was the beginning of the R-Type timeline, and that was humanity fighting amongst itself in order to quell dissent with, like, bad economics and whatnot. Like, the events of that game and the riots that were in it, they inspired reform that led to society becoming a much better place overall. R-Type, despite its grotesque themes and overly harsh difficulty, is still optimistic at the end of the day, and I love that, very openly. We've advanced through the guy's arm into his arteries and his muscles now, right in the middle of his chest. We're popping some pimples that are growing over here. And now we can talk about the mechanics of this game, as I am using the tentacles offensively just as much as I am defensively. There's lots of different ways that you can play through this game, and all of them are valid. Note that in R-Type 2, the only good weapon was the bio laser. Here, any weapon is good for any situation, even in the second loop. I forgot to bring up my timer, and it's too late to do that now. So there's just gonna be no timer for this run. The game is around 35 to 37 minutes to complete, if you're going for both loops. The game's 19 minutes long. This is how the surgeons took care of your kid. That's exactly how they took care of your kidney stone. That's right. Or it would be the second stage of Life Force, which is also one of my favorite games of all time. Gonna give you a low-key hint that this secretly convinced me of just how cool science and the inner workings of the human body are. It's a setting that was rarely seen in video games to this point, and I still think mutilating it was the coolest thing that Konami and Irem have ever done. Like, Life Force still has some of the best visuals in an arcade game I've ever seen. It's like, little wonder they re-themed the rest of the game to be more unique. It definitely stands out compared to just having cookie-cutter space settings again. Alright, this is where I took the yellow rings for. The yellow weapon is stronger, but you have to manually aim it everywhere. And thus, this has triple strength. I can kill these things before they even get a chance to shoot. And that's the strat on Loop 2. That's always the strat when it comes to this game. If you're quick enough, you can speed kill everything and never have to worry about it. The kidney stones pass out somewhere else, the opponent. Which, I'm gonna save the joke for when I need it. And then you have weirdly relaxing music for Dr. Frankenstein Hell right here. And this is me just casually strolling through the Bido body. The soundtrack is a real banger in this game, and yet it can be weirdly relaxing too. It gets more intense when it needs to be for all the set pieces, but there's something to be said about the weird soundtrack for this game. The soothing soundtrack actually does make you play better, weirdly enough. I like the Rolling Worms as well. I like the first stage song the most, but this song is just as good. I actually listened to this while I'm cruising down the highway, and it's quite a vibe. Speaking about SMUP soundtracks, yeah, the soundtrack is pretty much the only good thing about Metal Black alongside the gameplay. I just wish the casino stages in that didn't exist. So it's such an odd choice for Taito to couple a state-of-the-art and visually stunning shmup with their casino simulator. Back to X-Multiply, back to really cool games like this. This game exemplifies everything that IREM is good at without the bullshit. Of course, there are still bullshit moments, but the important thing is I can recover from every checkpoint in this game reliably until I get to the second loop. People really detest checkpoint gameplay, but I'm a staunch defender of it, and this game is a case for having good checkpoints in a game. Having checkpoints in a platformer or arcade game is actually cool, as long as the intent is for you to learn from it. Like, another game that does it right alongside this is every Shin Nakamura and Psycho game, where you actually have to keep repeating the last stage until you get it right. Sibu Kaihatsu pulled that in Raiden Fighters as well. Sus boss. Oh, that's not the sussiest boss in this game, copy paster. But yes, IREM were very phallic with their alien designs. Geiger was very phallic with his movies in general. And I just love how openly avert it is. You saw the second stage boss was a penis in R-Type 2. I'm not hiding it from everyone. Our own anatomy is alien even to us. And I don't think that's off limits to talk about. Because then you had R-Type 3 on Super Famicom, where in the uncensored Japanese version, it was outright a sack shooting sperms at you. Like a giant alien sperms trying to give birth to a lot of other baby aliens. Just got your Geiger artwork. Hell yeah, Juno973, hell yeah. Like, his work before Alien was some of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in my life. And that was taking inspiration from life forms that already exist. Who knows what we're gonna discover when we're able to explore the bottom of the ocean more. We discovered anglerfish, and there's suspected to be a lot of other life forms that we don't even know about yet. Like, this game, we might see this game in real life one of these days. And that thought either terrifies you or it excites you. IREM knew their shit. I do think IREM were one of the coolest developers ever. I'm gonna keep the homing shot here for safety so I can sit back and smack the sperms away. There's the stomach, here's the stomach. There's all the stomach acid down there. Damn, I might have to pick that up if I have. Do I? Okay, I'm good. The yellow rings are good for this stage, but not for the boss. All right, here goes. Watch this, watch this. I give you a nice big hug. A nice constricting boa constrictor hug. And who said non-consensual hugs were bad? I was able to choke the alien. I was able to choke the life out of that cretin alien bastard. I love how this game is too much fun. I love how strong your arms are in this game. You can just kill bosses just like that if you're daring enough. They don't have too much more health in Loop 2, so I can actually get away with that nonsense in Loop 2 as well. That's why I say this game is actually fairer than many of the R-types are. Like, even as long as you have the arms, you're in very good shape. And they often give you the arms, but... Okay, I'm gonna be a complete dumbass. Okay, I'm gonna feel Arnold Schwarzenegger's muscles. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Right. I get my arms back in 20 seconds. I just gotta survive until then. Give me that. Now I gotta race down here. The recoveries are not bad on Loop 1 at all. I've done all of them. The only really bad one is the end of stage 3 and the last stage. There it is, there it is, there it is. I gotta keep moving. Got it! Okay, we're back in business. All right. But yeah, there's only really 2 problem checkpoints on Loop 1, and that goes with what I said earlier. There is no getting lucky in an IREM game, unless you're playing Ninja Spirit or one of their platformers. The side scroll... Again? Man, you know, I really love John Rambo's muscles. He doesn't take too kindly to that, though. I didn't ask. I gotta knock that crap off. All right, I'm paying more attention now. I can just just say that I'm checkpoint milking, as that's the de facto strat. You want to kill yourself on the last stage if you got lives remaining, as that's 50,000 points per heart at the end of the stage. If you're able to do that last recovery on loop 2 every time, you get an ass load of points from it. So you're actually rewarded for doing the checkpoint recoveries. Like, not only do you recover, but you get an ass load more points as well, depending on the checkpoints. Die! There we go. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that laser. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am getting that laser after all. Right, now, if memory serves me right, it's right, left, right. It goes in a repeating pattern. Right, left, then right. That's how I think it goes. You gotta destroy the moles or the tapeworms. These things are just straight up tapeworms. I didn't want this speed up. It's fine, though. Like, this part you have to memorize. There's no getting around it. But you're not screwed if you die here. Yes, I'm too fast. That was my fault. But I know the way to recover this. I practiced this last night. Come out! Come out! I got my tentacles back. That's fine. That's all you really need in a situation like this. You probably guessed I don't like being too fast in a lot of these games. Oh, nice, nice. Do we on the left? Yeah, it's left, right, left, right. Yeah, it's a recognizable pattern. And then the next one's gonna be on the right, just like that. I'm a little underpowered, so I'm gonna focus till I get to the last stage. I can't talk much during the last stage anyway. It's like, it's no joke even on loop 1. That's the only problem checkpoint. So I'm gonna try not to die there. This is fine. Occasionally the tentacles won't work like you're seeing there, but the checkpoints are fair enough in this game anyway that it doesn't really matter too much. This is the first puzzle boss. We gotta dehorn him. You can only damage him by getting your tentacles in his head. By giving him a good old-fashioned brainwashing. And this is your hint that you can use your tentacles offensively. If you didn't figure it out by then you definitely know now. There's a reason why this boss exists and why you can't shoot him. Take those HR Geiger safety pads off your shoulders. There you go. Your shoulder pads aren't gonna save you, bud. Alright, last stage. And this is no joke. You really want to kill the gum as soon as possible. I don't know what else to call it. There's little wads of gum that spit gumballs at you. We ought to kill those enemy generators as fast as possible. They're just going to be nothing but headaches for us otherwise. It's mainly because, yeah, it's teaching you how to use your tentacles as an offensive weapon. I'm fast? Okay, this is where I can take an extra speed up. Die! Okay, good. That was good. I will take the rings so I have an extra level of power because the sooner the better. Like that, like that. Actually, the smaller rings might even be stronger than the bigger rings. I have to check. Good? Good. The rings and the homing are a good choice here, but your choice for the last boss, I think the rings are the best weapon you want to have there. It's go time, farters. It's go time. Okay, serious shit. I'm in hell now. I can't look at chat during this. I'm sorry. I practice for just such an occasion. Yeah, I'll take the speed up. That lets me dodge the bullets without a pod. Yes, I can use that. Good. Go away! Go away! Okay, good, good, good. That was good. That was really good. There we go. How am I gonna get up there, though? Ooh! It's a good thing I stayed calm there. Ooh. I don't think I'm gonna be able to kill that thing. These are taking higher precedent. Oh, we're out of hell! Oh! Oh! What a relief. Once you get to this point of the stage, it's not that bad, because then it just gives you your homing powers back. It's only the first part of the stage where it's serious business. We're not out of hell just yet, though. We're still on our last life here. With the one-up being 6 stages away. We gotta hope and pray we do good on the last phase as well. The laser, so I can do high DPS. Gotta kill these things as fast as possible. There we go. It's one or the other, not both. That's not really... The funny thing is, I wouldn't say that's ridiculously amazing. It's just dedication. Like I said, there is no luck in an IRM game, Akatane. Not in an IRM shmup. It's you either do or you don't. But with enough practice and dedication. And this is the last boss, which has a deliberate save spot to it. We gotta be right on top of Satan's forehead here. Like here, and then we just mash it out. This is a deliberate strat, by the way. They actually allude that is the only safe place to do that. It actually mentions the save spot in the ending. If you are anywhere else on the screen, you die. The ball's home in on you. Now this. Nice one. Oh. Whoa. Now I have my very own Salachi dodge. Yeah, baby! We've saved Arnold Schwarzenegger's life. And your reward for going through all that is you get crapped out the pooper. Where's my sound files? Come on, come on, come on. Where are my sound files? Where's my button to preview my sounds? Oh, I had to press edit. Well, better late than never, I guess. There. There. I usually keep my soundboard off during these streams, but that's warranted in this case. I went there and I manually played that just for you. You know, come to think of it, Spuckles, that could actually be a fart. That could actually be the gas coming out of the guy's butt. And that's the first loop of X Multiply. It gets a bit harder and stricter from this point forward. Not terribly harder, but it still becomes harder because now we have suicide bullets. Also, good point, Curio. Those could also be cells. And as for what Baiki said at the end of stage 7, the Satan here, what that was originally meant to represent was the evil within people. The evil within people is very difficult to expunge and immortal. But that was retconned to be the Bido instead, as the Bidos are like a hive mind organism. They all understand one another. And then you have the horror in R-Type Final, which I still have to beat. R-Type Final isn't my favorite R-Type game, but there is a part in the story where you become infected with the Bido, and then you suffer the repercussions of that. Like, it's important that that happens, as I don't even know. I have to figure out the story myself. But there is a point in the game where you become infected with the Bido. And that gives you important details. Oh, also, here's the first boss protecting himself this time around. or itself, whatever it is. But there's kind of a glitch there. He's got kind of stringy, unmuscular arms. He did leg day all the time, but he always skipped arm day. So yes, this is basically what the second loop is like. Everything has slightly more health, and all of the basic enemies shoot suicide bullets at you, which aren't too difficult to deal with if you use your arms properly, or you have enough speed to move yourself around. The second loop is pretty much affirming that you have a route for the game. So I routed it out myself, and thus I make sure I either have a third level of speed, or I just put the tentacles in front of my face whenever there's a huge cluster of enemies coming up. The suicide bullets really aren't bad to deal with in this game at all, especially since special enemies don't even fire them at you. So you actually know the lore? I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt in chat. You kill them in self-defense knowing what happened to you. And then that leads you to the true ending when you start the game again, right? Since you have to miss the game, and then you travel into the future, where the ultimate ending is that we succeed, our scientific powers succeed against the Bido for all time. That's the end of the R-Type series. And it's a very high note to end on, too. It's like, it goes past the year 2100 and goes into 2200 and infinity. Most IRIM hitboxes were manually programmed, Akatane. The only unreasonable IRIM hitbox were like the Tetris blocks in R-Type 1. Usually the hitboxes are rather forgiving, since back in the day the programmers had to faff about trying to figure out the hitboxes themselves. They had to manually do math until they actually had a desirable result. Like, the bouncy laser in R-Type 1 was the biggest pain in the ass for them to program. And I appreciate their tireless work for that. Yeah, R-Type Final 2, I'm gonna have a hot take here. I am not counting R-Type Final 2, the opponent. R-Type Final 2 was... I didn't even see that. It's time to checkpoint recover again. But I'm signing my name on this 5,200,000. That is a respectable score. I may sign my name on that. Oh, cool. Some people say that's the best one, Juno. I still think that X Multiply is the best R-Type game. Just because of the novelty of your tentacles. Hey, no, like I said, I think I played respectfully, all things considered, since this is an actual difficult part. I got like 10 minutes left on my timer, so I'm gonna spend some time checkpoint recovering this to not be too ahead of schedule. So as you can see here, now I have problems, but I can still destroy these things. I think what I'm doing is wrong. This is wrong. Okay, now I have my tentacles back. Gallop! I'm gonna be honest with you about Gallop. Gallop would be really cool if it weren't so dickish. Armed Police Unit Gallop is just as hard as R-Type 2 is, Juno. That's a game where the checkpoints are very, very unreasonable compared to this. Like, even in the US version, Cosmic Cop, the checkpoints, they're still screwed on most of the checkpoints in that game. It is? Should I reevaluate it, Juno? Should I? I'd be happy to if that's the case. If somebody actually did a checkpoint recovery montage, that would be pretty good. I know that exists for Image Fight and all the R-Type games. Oh, fascinating, Juno. Fascinating, because that was only sort of the case in the earlier games. You definitely had rank in R-Type 1 and 2. It's an Image Fight. I know it from Image Fight. The bullets slow down a little bit in Image Fight if you die. But when you're on the second loop, you're still pretty fucked if you die anywhere on that second loop. Highest point is the stage 3 boss. We're gonna give this 2 credits, like I said. Oh, funny enough, that's where I gave up. That's where I gave up on the game, funny enough. That's where I wrote the game off as a Kaizo. And then there's Battle Chopper, which you're expected to use your Wayne weapon most of the time. Battle Chopper is cool, but it's really cruel how you lose all your weapons all the time on a singular death. I think the other best game Irem made was Hammer and Harry on top of this. Like, Hammer and Harry, the power-ups are only temporary in that, so that one's always fair. Sure, can somebody post a schedule for, I can do it myself after my death. I'll pause it after my death. Yeah, Mr. Heli is Battle Chopper. And they put Mr. Heli in R-Type Final 1. That is not an R-Type game as it doesn't involve body horror in any way. But Mr. Heli still made a cameo in the game anyway. Along with all the other unrelated ships. It's like they made new lore for all the ships that were in the games that were retconned. Like the only two games that were retconned were R-Type Leo and Image Fight 2. Image Fight 2 is the only other one that was retconned. I will retrieve the schedule for you. Give me a second. Horror Coin Op Classic. So I think at the rate I'm going, I can give this one more credit. Yeah, X multiply goes to 218. Actually, I am up for Thundercross 2. Actually, it is time for me to move on. So I am going to shut this game off, like so, and I am going to set up Thundercross 2. My deaths and the repeat of the sections made this good for this schedule. I gave it my all, but like I said, now we got Thundercross 2. From one great game to a good game. Here's the attract mode. I'll see you guys Starside for another great game from Konami. This ends the R-Type block and begins Gradius. Yeah, hit play on this. Cut me off whenever you're ready, Anthole.